Welcome to the Summit on the MidwestSports.net YouTube channel, and it is a privilege today to have with me on the broadcast Dale Wellman, who is the head men's basketball coach for Nebraska Wesleyan University, and the Prairie Wolves just continue to roll, now having captured their fourth consecutive conference title, 13-0 in American Rivers Conference play. And Coach Wellman, first off, thank you for being with me today, and I appreciate you being on this live stream here on the MidwestSports.net channel. And also, congratulations on yet another conference regular season championship.
Well, first of all, thanks a lot, Joey, for having me on the show. I appreciate it. And thank you for the congratulations. I think our guys have worked extremely hard. It never gets tired. We have a bunch of guys that, really competitive and really like a good challenge. And we've had a bunch of guys that have started for 4 years, and to have the opportunity to win, 4 consecutive conference championships for those guys, they're really excited and they took on the challenge, and it's been a good season, and hopefully we keep it rolling a little bit.
I did want to ask you about that too, as how big is that to have this kind of consistency? I mean, I realize that that's not something that's afforded to college basketball really on any level anymore. And to get to have the consistency that you've had there, how big a luxury is that?
Oh, it's been great. If you rewind, 4 years ago, we lost the National Player of the Year in Trey Bardsley, who averaged 30 points for me. We lost Travis Kieselman, who averaged 21 points. We had a great year that year, and I didn't really know what direction the program was going to go with those guys and 4 other seniors graduating. And we were fortunate to bring in a really good class that year, the high school class of 2016. And, we handed the ball to Nate Schimonitz, and Jack Hiller started as a freshman, and Dylan Dirks started as a freshman. We got Deion Wells-Ross that transferred in, and that was kind of the beginning of it all. We had a good year the year before, but in terms of the consistency, that was the beginning of, hey, we can put together some back-to-back good seasons. And that's when I really began to realize, what we had here and what we'd be able to sell to future recruits. And those guys, no pun intended, have taken the ball and run with it and allowed us to have that consistency, that class. And now we have 8 seniors this year. We're going to try to replicate what we did in 2016 a little bit, which can be a daunting task, but we've done it before, and we have some good guys in the program, and we're real excited to try to keep it rolling after this year as well.
Well, you talk about those seniors, one of them in particular, and you mentioned Nate Schimonitz, that you gave him the ball from the word go, and he really has run with it. The player of the week now in conference play for the 5th week this season. The American Rivers Conference may need to just rename that award in his honor when it's all said and done. But a big week, 30-plus. He's averaging 28 points a game, 7.5 assists per game over the course of the week, which obviously translates to at minimum 15 more points right there. 4 rebounds, 2.5 steals, shot better than 55% from the field and 50% from behind the arc. I mean, if you put together that kind of stat line in a week, that's going to do good things for your program.
And those stats aren't that much different than what he's done over the course of the whole season, not just this week. I mean, he's a tremendous player. We were very lucky to get him, 4 years ago. And I think you hit on it a little bit. Not only does he score a lot of points, he's a 6'4" point guard that's, shooting over 60% from the field. But he does that without being selfish at all. He is not, he's averaging 7.5 assists. I think, it's over 5, almost 6 assists during the season. He looks for his teammates. I think first and foremost, that's what he tries to do. But he knows that when he needs to go get a bucket or when the opportunity presents itself, he takes that and he runs with it. And he's just done a great job of making himself better through the course of 4 years, but also making his teammates better as well.
You talked about the fact of having all those seniors and 5 seniors that start for you. And you just come right off the bench and seniors step in to get time off the bench, and I'm sure provide that spark for you as well. When you look at something like that, having the 4-year players, you have a couple of transfer players too, but to be able to recruit like that, and you mentioned wanting to replicate that, that has to be a daunting task to be able to try to fill those spots. Although it looks like that the folks you have coming up are eager and ready to get some time themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I really like some of our guys that don't necessarily get a lot of minutes for us. They just fortunately bought into the program and wanted to come to Nebraska Wesleyan, enjoyed Lincoln. And they're freshmen, sophomores on the team. We actually don't have a junior on the team this year. But
That's a weird anomaly.
that it really is. Well, when you have eight, when you have eight seniors, so there's got to be some give and take somewhere. It just happens to be in a junior class. And I like them a lot. They don't necessarily get a lot of minutes, but I feel very comfortable, and I will feel very comfortable handing the ball off to some of those guys. And obviously, we're hoping to fill these 8 spots with some recruits, and obviously, one of our selling points is come in right away and be able to compete for some playing time, maybe some starting spots. And I'm really excited about the future. Obviously, we want to finish strong this year and take care of business. But in coaching, you're always thinking about not just this year, but the future, because recruiting is such a big part of it. And I'm excited about the future as well. I think the really good thing about this senior class is they've set a great culture over the past 4 years. So these freshmen that aren't necessarily getting a lot of playing time, and sophomores, they can see what it takes to be a good program on and off the court. And all of that's because, kind of the legacy that this senior class has left and what they've been able to do.
Speaking now with Dale Wellman, who is the head men's basketball coach at Nebraska Wesleyan University. The Prairie Wolves, by the way, national champions back in 2018. And Coach Wellman, a national coach of the year, hoopdirt.com, D3 coach of the year in 2019. And then the NABC, the NCAA Division II coach of the year in 2018. You talked about recruiting. What's it like to recruit then to Lincoln, Nebraska to play for the Prairie Wolves?
I really like it. I think we have a lot to sell here. Lincoln, if you're recruiting somebody from the East Coast or West Coast, they might not completely understand what a great city Lincoln, Nebraska is. I mean, it's a true college town. And obviously a lot of it's because University of Nebraska is right down the street. But, our players reap the benefits of having, 25,000, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids in town. And it makes it a really vibrant community, 300,000 people. It's a fun city. On campus, I think we have a lot to sell. Not that the ratings are the end-all be-all when it comes to a college decision, but, I always challenge the parents and recruits to, go check out what the different books and magazines say about Nebraska Wesleyan. We're always ranked very high, very well in those categories. And then, obviously, I'm hoping that recruits buy into the program. Myself, my assistant coaches, the guys that are in the program. We want to make sure that we recruit guys that aren't just talented, but fit in well with the other guys on the team. I definitely feel pressure to make sure that we're not doing anything to disrupt the chemistry when we recruit. And we've been fortunate enough to get those guys that I don't have to worry about on Friday or Saturday night. They're taking care of business in the classroom. And a lot of that is just because of Nebraska Wesleyan and the type of, student that it recruits overall. We're just trying to fit that mold with some guys that are talented, and we've been fortunate to be able to do that. But I think it's, when I took the job 6 years ago, I wasn't quite sure, what I needed to hit on in terms of recruiting. And each guy's a little different, but, we talk about the big three all the time in terms of the athletics, academics, and the social aspect. And I just think that, it's kind of the perfect storm where we're located. And Lincoln being a great college sports town, it's not a pro town. The Broncos or, right, or the Bears, or whatever, they're not going to be on the front page of the sports section. It's going to be a college team. And obviously, most of the time, it's going to be the Huskers. But we like those times that it's us as well.
Well, and you have the opportunity once again to make some headlines as the season is winding down here. Undefeated, Coach, since the calendar has turned to 2020, 10 consecutive wins. I know you're 13-0 in conference play. We talked about that, but even since the calendar has turned, you've upped things a little bit on the offensive end. You have teams that can put the ball in the basket and very well right now, averaging 89 points per game on the season overall. But in 2020, you've stepped it up even a little bit more, averaging 92.5 points per game. Has there been anything different since conference play has really kicked into gear, or that's just a part of a season that just seems to be getting better as it goes along?
I think before January 1st in our non-conference schedule, and don't get me wrong, our conference is extremely, extremely hard. But in that non-conference, we really try to challenge our guys this year. We've had 2 Division I exhibition games, College of Charleston and Wyoming, where we really wanted to challenge our guys to get better. And along with that, we've played, St. Thomas and St. John's in Division III. We're ranked 6th right now, and they're both ranked ahead of us. But we went out and we challenged those guys. We challenged good teams. We challenged Wisconsin State School. We wanted to challenge our guys. And we knew doing that early was going to help us in conference play. And I think battling through those, preparing for those, playing against the good teams has really put us in a good position for this conference run, because we knew it would be tough. And our guys, like I said earlier, have really responded well to the challenge. And, after you go through the conference the first time and you don't have a loss, you want to make sure you have guys that are still, hungry to get better. Right. And they're not becoming complacent because, hey, we've already played everyone. We've got the wins. You have to do it again. You have to go around and do it again. And I've been really proud of the way our guys have responded, of just trying to get better, taking that challenge in every day, and not becoming complacent, and knowing, that this is the time of year that we need to peak. And the nice thing is, a lot of these guys were on the team in 2018 when we made the run, and we were right. Peaking at the right time, and they remember that, and they want to try to replicate that. And fortunately, it's gone pretty well. We still have some work to do.
Well, and it does look like that you are peaking at the right time. 3 more conference games on the regular season docket, and for those seniors, 3 more opportunities to put the uniform on there from that standpoint before conference tournament play gets into gear. You know that you are the regular season champions, and you know that you will be the top seed in the conference tournament when that comes around. But you have Central on the schedule this Saturday. You go to Simpson, and then back at home for a senior day against a very tough Loras team as well. Nice way to close out that schedule against the number 2 team in the conference before ARC conference play gets into gear. One other thing, Coach, you talked about being number 6, number 2 in the regional rankings, and those are important into the NCAA tournament when you take that next step, and you put yourself in a good position right now, no matter what happens with the end of the regular season. Ahead of you in those regional rankings is that St. Thomas team that you talked about, and one of the only 2 losses on the year, 20-2 on the season. I know that you can't afford to look ahead, but do you ever look ahead just a little bit and go, okay, well, we know that's one of those things that can keep the boys hungry, because that was an L this year.
It wasn't, and I don't really look ahead too far, especially this time of year. People are starting to talk about the tournament, and it's just too early to kind of figure out who's going to go where, who's going to be playing. We St. Thomas ended our season last year, and obviously we played them again this year. I mean, so we're 0-2 against those guys. Part of me would love to meet up with them again in the tournament, but maybe that's just me being stubborn a little bit. But we constantly talk to our guys about just getting better every day. We had a bye Wednesday yesterday in the conference play, and we hadn't even talked about Central during practice this week. We'll start doing that today and tomorrow, just because we're trying to focus on getting better each and every day. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but really that's what we're trying to do, is just trying to get better each and every day. And, hopefully we can make the postseason, and whoever we end up playing, maybe in the conference tournament or NCAA tournament or whatever, I mean, whoever they put in front of us, our goal that day will be to get better and to take care of business and do the things that we know that we can do, regardless of who's on the other end, who's wearing the other uniform, and having 8 seniors is nice. A lot of experience, a lot of maturity, and they've done a great job handling that so far. And I would expect the same, however long we may play.
Well, and with 8 seniors, it's just like it's all in. We're pushing it all on the table this year, and no looking ahead, at least from that perspective, I'm sure, for those young men as well. Coach Dale Wellman, thank you very much for taking time with us today on the Summit. Success to you for your career, but especially for the remainder of this season and however long your run may be.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks a lot for having me. This was great. Thank you.
Coach Dale Wellman here on the Summit. I'm Joey McWilliams. Thanks again for watching. I invite you to like and share this video, and also please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, MidwestSports.net. In the meantime, thanks for watching again. God bless you, and have a great day.